Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Divine Feminine Rebirth Show. I'm here with the beautiful Elena. I'm Julie from Maison Jupiter, of course. Forgot to say hi, Elena. How are
Hi,
you?
good you?
Good. We have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm very excited to be here with you, sharing tonight's theme, which is spiritual journeys and travels. And we're going to talk a little bit about Jupiter turning retrograde today. So that's why we chose this theme. And we're going to share about like spiritual trips that have activated us on a spiritual level. Elena, you're going to share some of your magnificent trips with some photos. So stay tuned for that. We have a little bit of astrology as well. And I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, hello everybody, by the way.
Yeah. So some people seem to have issues seeing us. So please refresh. I don't know if you're going to see this, but let's hope everybody finds us, finds their way to the live or the replay. Hi, Rainbow Sun. She says, hi, Julie and Elena. So love you to be with you, beautiful ladies, today. Much love to you both. Well, thank you. Much love to you as well. Hi, Tim. A pleasure to see you. And we're going to have a little bit more people coming in, I'm sure. Jake is finishing making dinner. Thank you, Jake, for being here. So I'll just start by maybe sharing a little bit of what I did last night. But before I do that, how are you, Elena? With the energies, we're still under the influence of the eclipse. What do you feel has shifted for you since the October 2nd eclipse activation, which was very powerful, by the way?
Thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you did during this activation. Thank you so much to the community because I feel like, yes, I'm the one holding the meditation and doing all the activation, but it's like all the energies together being there at the same time. And even like when you guys are like listening on replay, it's like an energy that it's going higher. So I feel like probably there was a lot of things that we did release, and I still feel that we are still doing the work, you know. But when even if like let's say there's a big tornado, it's like we're able to just be able to even like continue to walk and like just to feel it like smoother, like if you know what I mean, like there's a tornado, but we are able to control ourselves and to be grounded and very like in control of our energy and being able to like protect ourselves when it's the time. So I feel like we did open a lot. I feel like all the chakras, we did a very big cleaning and we were able to connect even more with our guides, intuition, being able to speak even more with communication with people that around us. And even if like it's not the time to speak with someone in regards to like that energy, balance energy, we leave it for another day because there's so much in the energy from the eclipses. But I do feel that the heart is like opening. So sometimes I feel like the heart did open so much that I'm having a bit of like sometimes like a hard time to control my emotion. So that's why I need to do a bit like more like meditation and control myself and see like to really reflect, is this like really an emotion that's coming from me or from my past life or something
Yeah,
else?
I think you're right. I think we're also processing a lot from past lifetimes, so we might not always be aware of that, but I think we're still doing the work, and it was indeed very powerful. Corbin, hi Corbin, nice to see you. Hi Elishel, Emma. Yeah, I think you're so right about that. We need grounding. Yes, Elena, says Jake. I do also feel, I felt the need today, well, in the past days, to meditate a little bit more than usual also. So it makes sense what you're saying about like having a big heart opening. And it's funny you say that because I meditated today and the chakra I could feel the most was my heart chakra. I felt like it was expanding. But with that also, I feel like we're being more exposed, more vulnerable. So it makes a lot of sense. So grounding, yes, Jake. So comment.
And the activation was longer than usually also, but we really travel a lot. And it was necessary. And with also the drum, it was beautiful, letting flow, letting go of everything. And how do you feel about last week with the activation?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I feel like important seeds were planted for me. Like I'll speak more on a personal level. I feel like it has like a lot of, wow, I have trouble speaking. I feel like I did a lot of visualization and manifestation. So planting seeds that I feel I can, I feel like I'm going to be able to see the results very soon. But I filmed the video for the full moon in Aries, on which premiered yesterday. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. There's a lot of interesting information, I mean, about this event. And so I feel like we're kind of in the middle of the Libra new moon eclipse, and we're halfway between the new moon and the full moon, and I can feel like both energies. I feel the energies of like a big, interesting karmic chapter that is opening up with more balance, more ease, a new beginning. But also I feel like there is some, let's say, challenges. There are some challenges coming, some tests by the universe. I can feel a bit of friction, but I can feel also a lot of beauty and balance.
Wow, you're absolutely right. And I know, like, when you're saying that, I feel the same, because like when I was like doing the activation, the colors that I was able to see and everything that I saw when I was doing this activation was so powerful. The colors so bright, everything was so clear. So I feel like all our intentions, all we did that we did manifest, it's right there. It's right in front of us. So we have just like more power to do what we really want to do. Work more on our creativity, listen to our intuition. I feel like it's really, really open.
That's so cool. And in astrology, we say that a new moon, we can't see the moon. So it's like the void of creation where we are planting seeds of intentions. But whenever we start seeing the moon, like, and right now we can start seeing it, it like crystallizes in the material, what we have been manifesting. And I want to say that it's off topic from the topic of tonight, but I felt it was relevant with the eclipse. One of my good friends, which she works in the sports industry, Annie, and I saw her birth chart last time I saw her, which was the end of summer, I guess. And I looked at her birth chart, and the eclipse in Libra, the new moon eclipse that we just had on October 2nd, was in her 10th house. So 10th house is career, reputation, doing something big out in the open. And I can't remember, but it was also conjuncting one of her personal planets. So I said, oh, something big's going to happen, something major for you, like a new start in your career. So a big event is going to happen near the eclipse. And she's like, And after a few minutes, she's like, oh, yeah, I know what's going to happen. And I didn't know until a few weeks ago, because she invited me and a couple of our friends to the launch of the new professional feminine football team in Montreal. So it's the first professional feminine soccer team that we have in Montreal, and she's the president. And they were launching the new logo and branding. So I have my T-shirt in support to Annie, and they are called the Roses, the Montreal Roses. And so they were launching the logo, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And the link here is that roses are linked to the divine feminine. And so also Libra deals with aesthetics. So she was launching a new branding, a new image in her 10th house of career. So that was like a big event for her. And I said, honestly, it's like the most beautiful sports team logo that I've ever seen. And like somehow roses just keep popping up. I feel like on the forefront of our consciousness recently, but I feel like it's also supporting the uprising of the divine feminine. And it was like such a beautiful surprise to see that. I didn't know that they were called the roses until yesterday. I went to the launch. And yes, Rainbow Sun, good point. She says the Magdalene also. Yeah, good point. And I thought like it was such like a beautiful example also of the divine feminine rising, because she's one of the rare women president of a sports team, of a professional sports team. And she leads with her heart. And she's such like a beautiful example of a divine feminine leader. And she has taught me so much when I was in the sports industry as well. She was my mentor, definitely. So I was super happy to be able to support her. So I'm wearing proudly my roses, my Montreal Roses shirt today with my Larimar, of course.
Beautiful. And I love the fact that the rose is like really like close to your heart as well.
Yeah.
With the blue color, and like I feel like it really, like you said, connect with the divine feminine.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you just a picture that I have. I'm not a big picture taker, but I did take a little photo of my beautiful friend Annie. She's on the left here on the stage, and she's here with the new coach for this team. So that was a really beautiful event. And it's interesting because like I had glimpses of how does like a divine feminine really lead a team. And one of my friend that I used to work with when I was working for the men professional soccer team in Montreal, we were working together, and he just got hired by this team, by Annie. And he said right away when I entered the office, my first day, she didn't even know me, and she's the president, and she gave me a hug. He said nobody ever gave me a hug before in office. And he said like I was feeling so welcome. The energy is just so nurturing, so different. Like he said like it makes the whole difference, like a world of difference. Just the way that she's able to put this nurturing energy that is like heart-led, I would say. And people can see it, that it's true, and like that they care about the people. It's not just like a business, it's like a teamwork. So I thought that was a beautiful example. And you have met Annie also.
I did, and I was gonna say I met her. Was it 3 weeks ago that I met her? You have been talking to me about her for many years, but I had the honor to meet her 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just felt like everything was normal. Like I knew her like for the longest time, and this type of energy is the type of energy that we need for leaders.
Mm-hmm. She's so humble, and people were like joking with her. She's like, they call her the president, and she's like, no, she doesn't want to have that reputation. So yeah, so roses, they keep coming up, popping up in the field of consciousness. I have also roses in my backyard, believe it or not, that just bloomed a second time this season. So I'm super excited. And I also have heard about a lot of people in the spiritual industry, well, not a lot, but like famous people in the spiritual industry, concentrating their efforts on the roses and the effect that they have on people. So I thought that was just like so beautiful for the period of time we're in. So yes, Mary Magdalene, consciousness coming to help the awakening of humanity. Beautiful. And also I want to say thank you for everybody, because we're overwhelmingly happy and grateful with all the beautiful orders that we receive, right, Elena, for the Larimar?
Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting us. You know that everything that we do, we make it with the heart, you know. And when we are launching something, we are thinking about the community. what is it that you guys need, and we feel that this special pendant, it is like perfect for you. And it's not an idea that is coming like from 2 weeks ago. It's an idea that we spoke long time ago. So it's like there's a big history behind the Larimar. So I just feel like it's just a beginning of something. And thank you so much for supporting us. If you guys saw also on the Instagram account, we have a Maison Jupiter boutique as well that you can go and see all the beautiful pictures that we have. And this is like only the art from us. And I feel like just because you are giving us the wings to do all this. So I just want to thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, beautiful Elena. And still, we have a few days left for the 15% off discount for this beautiful collection launch. It's going to be until the 13th, so until Sunday. So thank you so much for your orders. Elena's working on them as we speak. And yes, I didn't know that. Thank you so much, Tim. So we are at 14.9K subscribers on our YouTube channel. So that's an amazing. I'll just pop that here so that you can see. Thank you so much, Tim, for letting us know. So please do make sure you like this video because it really helps the algorithm for new people to find us, but also for supporting us, for supporting the crew. So thank you so much for your love over here. And also we are simulcasting on Rumble. So if you are watching on this platform, please do make sure you like this video as well and you are subscribed to the channel you're watching this on. Thank you so much, guys. And Sophie is here. Hi, Sophie. Nice to see you. And I wanted to pop.
Sophie and Julie, congratulations on the new show, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very proud of it. I think this is a really good one, and I'll come back to your comment, Lauriane. Thank you, Elena. We just started that last Thursday, Sophie and I. We're already at 6.8K views just on YouTube. So thank you so much, guys. I think that was a really interesting one, and we have another one really interesting as well coming up tomorrow. So do make sure you watch this one. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about the travel industry, immigration, the moon, RH negative blood, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, and a lot more interesting subjects. So do check it out. And thank you so much, Lauriane. She says, it is our collective feminine energy that is leading the shift of this planet's frequency. Absolutely. Rainbow Sun says, Sisters of the Rose. I love that. And Lauriane says, Elena is our beautiful living rose, making earthly enhancing energy. I love that. And you're so right, Lauriane, because also she is the maker of those beautiful crystal infused candle. So really infusing a lot of healing, energy, nurturing, a lot of love into those creations. And forgot to say, but also we have this promotion going on, and that's also until this Sunday, the 13th. We have a 15% off special discount on the 7 crystal infused candles from the collection. And for this promo, you need to enter this discount code here at checkout, which is Crystal 15 to get the 15% off. So, wow, okay. Oh, thank you so much, like Laura. She says, I love my candle.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So where do we start? Okay, I'll start with Jupiter retrograde, because then we're going to talk about a lot about traveling and special sacred places. So today we have Jupiter turning retrograde, and Elena, she was asking me right before the show, is that bad? So my answer was, no, it's neutral. So the way, and different astrologer will have different ways of explaining the outer planets going retrograde. For me, what resonates the most is mostly like a change of direction. So in regards of the theme that Jupiter rules. So it's not necessarily that Jupiter doesn't function for until February, because like if we look at it on a bigger perspective, the outer planets are almost half of the time going retrograde. So it's a normal thing. It's just a change in direction. So Jupiter rules travels, legal affairs, foreigners, international affairs, our beliefs, the way we think, our perspective of life, spirituality, our guides. It rules also the concept of helping or being helped by our guides or other people, and also our teachers. And I have a fly attacking me while I'm saying that. I don't know if that's a sign for something, but also it rules over teaching and higher learning. So all of those themes, and not all of those, it's going to depend on each and every one of us, but we can see some of those themes having a change of direction. So you might hear news about a situation regarding those topics that Jupiter rules, for example, especially around the days that Jupiter goes retrograde, so around today and around February 4th also of next year, where it's going to turn direct again in the sign of Gemini. So when a planet changes direction, there are changes of direction regarding its themes. So sometimes it's time to take a different approach, or something could move forward, or something could need your focus in order to make some tweaks, some changes. And
so you're saying that if something is not working, it's time to like change the way we're doing something.
yeah, definitely, especially in Gemini, because Gemini can also rule our thoughts, our plans, our communication. So it's time to take another approach, but also to look at what are our beliefs, because Jupiter rules our beliefs and our hope. So what is maybe or was being a blockage in the way that we see things, let's say for our manifestation, for getting more help, for getting more abundance, Jupiter also. So a lot about limiting beliefs, I feel it's can be healed around this time and until February. And also Jupiter can rule opportunities. So we might get the chance to revisit some previous opportunities. Maybe we missed some opportunities and they might be coming back with a better sense of timing at this time. Or maybe we have to make more efforts into getting those opportunities in our lives. So yes, I said that about Gemini. There will be shifts in perception. And also, Gemini rules words. So make sure that you choose your words very carefully, because Jupiter is at kind of a weak spot in Gemini and it's retrograde. So any kind of thought process can be a little, let's say, overlooked sometimes, because Jupiter likes to look at the big picture, is not really detail oriented. So that's why it's kind of weak in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is more like a detective, likes to input all of the information, but Jupiter doesn't really care about all the detail. It looks at like the big picture. So it's a weak position for Jupiter to be in. So whenever it goes retrograde, like now, we might need to verify a little bit more of all the mercurial stuff. So it's not like a Mercury retrograde, but almost. And verify everything linked to information and communication before sharing, and especially on social media. So before you share something, you make a post, just make sure you verify your information, because there will be high chances of getting things mixed up. And for instance, like I have a lot of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter in my chart. So sometimes like I don't really care about like all the specific details, and I don't remember, like, you know, Elena, when I tell you a story about something and I remember I forget half of the story, because it's like my brain just didn't record it because it was not important for like the big picture.
So what I do to Julie, I say to her, if you're like you're gonna go somewhere and you have something to tell me, just send me like a message with like a small detail of the information so you can remember and tell me.
Yeah, that's so true, because she likes details and I don't really. So maybe it's a sign for everybody to take some more notes so that you can remember the steps to something, or let's say if you have an experience, make sure you journal about it. So this is what I did when I went to Peru. She said, send me voices or messages so that you don't remember.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I guess.
And you know what? I'm thinking when I was a kid, I had a journal and I used to write down my day. Like every day I was writing down like a story. And it's like it's so like I feel like it's so positive because you're also looking like you're writing down your information, but it's like it makes it like how can I say more alive whenever and to be able to look the information that you're thinking, it makes something makes it alive. That's how I feel.
Interesting. So yeah, there will be a lot of that under scrutiny for this retrograde, and also be ready to keep an open mind on all sorts of information, because
Okay.
Gemini is the sign of open-mindedness and also seeing things from different perspectives. And Jupiter usually not so much. It rules Sagittarius, which has like one way of thinking about things, one belief. And usually when, let's say, Sagittarius people or strong Jupiter people believe in something, good luck making them change their mind. So that's why also Jupiter in Gemini is in a weak position, because if you know a lot of Gemini people, they usually have like more than one perspective on things. Like they can shift gears really easily, like believe in something and the next day be like, oh, but look at this information over there that contradicts the whole thing, but it's also very interesting. So that's the strength of Gemini. So while Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Gemini, we might also come across different information, controversial information, or contradictory to our previous beliefs. And the whole point of this is that be open, because we might have been wrong and we might need to open ourselves up to new information and new facts.
Wow. So are you saying, let's say, is I feel like this is good for Gemini, like because for them, like to be looking all over the place sometimes and looking all the information, maybe that energy will help them?
I would say Jupiter being in their sign, yes, can help them focus a little bit more, but being retrograde, it's kind of there's adjustments to be made specifically for Gemini's, adjustment about beliefs, about perspective. And what also do we need to let go about our beliefs that doesn't allow us to retain more information or to learn about new things. So specifically for Geminis, it's going to be very relevant. And lastly, great time to shift limiting beliefs, change our inner narrative and what we believe is true regarding our ability to manifest. So Jupiter is all about abundance. And we are still within eclipse season, and we have been manifesting a lot in the Libra new moon eclipse. So now what beliefs do you hold that maybe was unconscious and maybe might come to light now that Jupiter is turning retrograde, that doesn't really allow you to manifest the abundance in whatever sphere of your life that you'd like to? So do you have something you wanted to say here?
Yes. Well, for like, I want to share like something personal. And if you guys want to share with us as well, feel free. Remember that this is a safe space. Like for me, you guys know me like for almost like 2.5 years. And it was always like about like making sure that everybody's okay. Like, but now I'm just like taking care of myself and making sure that I'm going on the right path. And if people, don't resonate with me anymore, well, usually I used to be like very sad, very sensitive. I'm just like grateful for what happened, and I just need to continue and listen to myself. And I know that the people that I'm surrounded right now and the people that I'm going to meet during this my path, there's a reason why. So I concentrate more on my things. So
Yeah, because I feel like you have maybe a better idea of who you are as we're both Venus in Libra, so it's easy to want to people please, and we're really sociable, and we're easy to get along with. But sometimes when you don't have a very defined idea of who you are at your core, it's easy to be swept away. If you're in a relationship, or if you're with that friend, you change, and you're with other friend, like you change, and you want to adapt. And I think adaptability is a great quality, but also I feel like now you're more defined in who you are and what you're not willing to compromise on.
Yes, but I'm still the same person. I still love to give a lot. I'm doing all these qualities that I have, but with the people that are supporting me, and when I feel that there's an exchange of energy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I feel like it's a really important step of the spiritual awakening, where you define your boundaries, you know who you are, and you're like, it's sad, but sometimes you have to part ways with some people who don't give you space for the person that you're becoming, because we're always changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lorianne is saying, Elena, you came back a new person from the Dominican Republic.
True. And before, it was not my first time that I was going to Dominican Republic in 2023. But when you said to me, you need to go there, and it was not a one, like an, how do you call that? I don't even remember. All inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. All inclusive. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So learning something new from that energy of the Dominican Republic, be in the culture, I had like such an awakening. And because we're talking, we can talk about that because we're talking about traveling. And I remember when we were in a plane, I knew that something big was coming for me. And it was actually the first time that I was traveling since like a long time. And I felt like to have like this connection with myself, because I have been like with the kids, and like so many things happen, guys. So that moment, that was the first moment that I was doing something for myself for the longest time.
That's so powerful. And I feel like for me too, because like we all know that there were events of 2020 that prevented us from traveling, right? So when in 2023, I think they lifted the travel ban in Canada in January. And that's why at some point I was always like, it's like I was used to be in a cage at that point. And then when I saw that there were no more, let's say, rules or ban, I was like, well, what's keeping me from just going somewhere? And I felt like I had already like this slave mentality that was ingrained, like, oh, I cannot go out of my country. And at some point I was like, I need to do something for me too. Like I want to, and like, my passion is dance too, and yours too as well. So I was like, girls, and we went with Coco that time, and I said, girls, we're going to the Dominican Republic, we're going to dance Dominican bachata. And that was like such a pivotal moment for me too, a revival of my soul. And yeah, I feel like I reconnected also with my divine feminine energy, which for me is a big part of like the dance. It's all about being in that playful energy. Dominican bachata, of course, is a lot about the hips too. So the sacral chakras being very much activated, but also like the connection part of the dance, and the music, the fun. And we were like in between girls, just like with no expectation of like what travel would look like, just like aprovechando, enjoying.
But it's true. And also the bachata and the Latin music, it's like you really feel it in your heart, like all the music. And there, just to give you like a bit of a context, there, when you're going somewhere, there's like a lot of like dancer that they are hired to dance with the people that are in, let's say, in this particular club, and it's like an open club, and it's like connected right next to the not the water but the ocean. So it makes it so beautiful. And for me also, it's like there I started to re-dance. For me, it was like my self-confidence at that moment was not at the highest, and for me just to be able to dance again and feel, it was so beautiful. And that's the only thing we were doing, and only watching the people. It was just, it's like another level of energy. We were not sleeping that much because we were dancing so much, going by the beach, drinking a lot of smoothies. The food is like beautiful, the fruits are amazing.
And we connected with the water as well, the ocean, which was
Mhm.
something that was missing when we didn't travel for so many years. And until like you don't do it, like you forget like how important this connection is to water, to the ocean. And someone said earlier, John was saying, warm weather is good for the soul. And yes, I have to say it is so true. I feel like my energy level is so much higher whenever I'm there or in a warm country. I feel like I'm not in survival mode anymore. I'm just like, I can
Mhm.
just be. And
Yeah.
I wake up earlier. I have more energy.
And here
Yeah.
it's starting to be cold. Just I noticed yesterday I'm starting to drink lots of water because we need to put back the heat slowly. So that I know, like for my body, it's something that I need, connection with the water, connection, yeah, with the heat. I feel like I don't belong here in the cold.
I know. I felt this way all my life. And when I was a teenager living with my mom, I used to put la calefacción, the heater.
The heat, like you were talking about Dominican Republic,
Yeah,
and you are
my
talking
mind
in
switches. My mind.
Spanish.
I used to put the heat at like, and you guys are probably more in Fahrenheit, but in like 25-degree, which is like a beach weather. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, like it's gonna cost me so much in electricity." And I was like going around the house in like shorts and a little t-shirt, and in the middle of winter, she was like,
Oh
like
my God.
I'm not born to be here. Like, what can I
Mhm.
say?
But the problem here is that it's so dry. So even if we're putting the heat,
Yeah.
there's something with our body, the skin. I feel like we
Yeah.
need to do something about that.
And of course, when you're over there and you're in the heat, it's so different because you have like all the negative ions from the water and the iodine, what's the word, that comes from the seawater. So, anyways, you breathe in the seawater, and it has like so much healing effects on your body, on your respiratory organs, on your energy, on your frequency. So yeah, it's just another experience. Thank you, Lorianne. She said the two Divine Feminine ladies on the screen are not the same ladies I first saw.
Mhm.
Yes, on this other channel, ladies, your powers were liberated by getting your own show control. Thank you so much, Lorianne. Oh yes, we could talk about it for hours. This has been an interesting year filled with challenges, but also a big year of liberation. And I feel like we did a lot of karmic liberation, karmic work, and we needed to get out of a karmic loop, and we needed to refocus this energy on the direction of the liberation of the divine feminine. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. But yes, it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage, but we are using this throat chakra to the best of our ability, even speaking many languages.
Exactly. And thank you so much, guys, by the way, because I used to work like in English as well, but like talking about my, like on my spiritual journey was totally different. So I feel like I've grown so much with you guys. And every day, every week, it's like, even like, I can see the positive change and the support from the community. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, thank you. And I have to say also, when I had this huge boost in my channel 2.5 years ago, or almost 3 now, almost 3 years ago, um, I didn't I wasn't accustomed to speaking English at that point because of like the whole 2020 situation. So I was only speaking French every day, and all of a sudden I had to speak English. So that was a bit of an adaptation. So thank you guys for being so gracious with us. And yes, John is saying being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart, but it's so rewarding. I have to agree 100% with you, John. It is not for the faint of heart, but yes, like when you have something that works well, like for instance, like this collection, because Elena really had like a strong passion, motivation that came from the heart. And when you see the rewards of your hard work, it is so, so, so rewarding. And I saw a post yesterday that said, my whole business strategy is doing all the things I love when I want and doing the very least of the things that I don't want to do. And that's like 100% my business strategy.
That's good. And by the way, last week, oh my God, when after, was it right after the show or the day after? I was crying so much. I was so grateful of seeing seeing the support um, from the community. I said it from the beginning, but I was like crying. Like I was like, wow, people like are supporting us. But yes, because you guys support us, but because you believe in what we do, and you believe in what we say also. So thank you so much.
Oh, and John says here, you look a lot happier. Yes. Well, it's all about this balance that we have been talking so much about. I respect myself. I respect my rhythm. Elena, you do too. And we are cyclical beings. We're not robots. And at some point, when you work like a robot for a few years, you end up being very imbalanced. And this year was the year where I decided that I was getting back into a balance. So a lot more self-love, a lot more understanding of my limits. And I think it's going to positively affect also the quality. And it is affecting the quality of the work, of the content that we're creating also. So
it's not easy, just to say, like, all this, the process is not easy. And just because we're talking about the travel journey, I remember when we entered in Samana, I was scared of something. And at that moment, I didn't know. I didn't tell you, by the way. I was in the car, and a friend of yours came to pick us up. Was it? Yeah. And I don't know. I was afraid of something. And that's what happened. The big awakening that I was afraid of. And the universe said, no, here you are, and you're going to live it like you're supposed to live it, and open yourself, open your heart.
Wow. That's crazy. So your ego feared like this huge potential death of the ego that you were going to experience, because that all started with this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that is so amazing. And I have to say also, the first time, well, it wasn't the first time that I went to Dominican Republic, but it was the first time that I discovered dance and the city that we like to go to, La Serena. And that's my dad invited me over there, so he's the one who triggered this whole huge awakening. And that was the start for me to leave the matrix. That's exactly in the window of time where I went there. I was like, wait a minute, so like my life doesn't make sense. I should be here dancing, eating fruits right off the trees, and working on my laptop as little as possible. And I was just like, this life doesn't make any sense. And I had I was living a very simple life for like 2 months over there with my flip-flops and eating fruits, eating fresh vegetables, fresh avocados. And I was just like, I don't need much to be happy. I need dance. I need connection with the earth. I need good relationships. I had my dad over here. I had friends. And I relearned how to balance my whole divine feminine, divine masculine inner balance with the dance, because before that, I was a dancer, but I was a solo dancer. So that was like a big first for me to learn how to dance with a partner. And I took private lessons for 2 months. Well, I came for a week at first, and then my dad said, well, I'm here all winter, come back, like buy a laptop and come back and work from here. And I was just like, you're so right. You're so right. So I decided to quit my job, become a freelancer, bought a laptop, went back there 2 months, and I decided to take private lessons every day to better my bachata, my salsa. I was gonna change the language again. Wow. And this changed my life. It really rebalanced, and it was like a huge detox also of the corporate world. And I was so much in my masculine energy, and my teacher was always like, why are you trying to lead me here? And I was pulling on his hands. So I had to learn how to let go of control, basically, and to flow with another and to be in my divine feminine energy. And that was like a huge part of my spiritual awakening. So like, I guess the first part was like the actual spiritual awakening, and that was like a huge divine feminine awakening for me. And I guess that's what this lugar, this place does.
I feel exactly when you came back and you were talking about everything, I'm like, okay, I look at you and I'm like, okay, there's something big that's happening. Like at that moment, I was not very, like, I was awake, but still not, I was in between. But the reason why I said, okay, something big is happening to Julie, I was able to see and feel like a switch of energy in your body and your soul. And this is what happened to me when I'm traveling. Before going to Dominican, before having the kids, because I was not happy with the work that I was doing. I absolutely needed to travel and spend like I had my place, but I was not buying any new furniture. Like everything that I had was like very simple, very neutral. But because I had the choice of like either I put like beautiful things at home, but I was like, I feel like I need to move. And a lot of people were not able to understand how come Elena is spending so much money to travel to that place. But for me, it was like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it because I'm working right now. I'm looking for myself. But that's the only way that I felt without knowing that I was like opening my soul, and my awakening was like happening very slowly.
Your remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're so right. I think, well, I've always had this mindset of traveling is not a like a useless spending habit. It's something that is probably worth more than anything we could do, because it allows you to grow so much.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's the biggest school.
It's the biggest school. That's so true. And that's why it's also associated in astrology with the sign of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is traveling, but also it's about spirituality and this growth of consciousness, this self-growth, this huge spiritual awakening process. So it can happen outwardly if we, let's say, if we travel, but also let's say we learn about astrology, or we learn about tarot, or we start reading spiritual books, and our consciousness grow a lot more. So it could happen outwardly, but also inwardly. But it's interesting that Sagittarius rules both, because travel is such a powerful tool for spiritual growth and for changes and activations. And I feel like oftentimes we travel to a special place and we don't come back the same. Do you feel that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm very visual, so I need to feel, I need to touch, I need to see. So for me, reading a book, yes, when I was younger, I used to love reading, but to be able to feel and be in that place, it makes such a difference. When I travel, let's say, for example, in Hawaii, beautiful energy there. Like this is like pure energy. And at that moment, I was like not even aware of what was going on, but me connecting with nature and with that heat. Like when I was there in Hawaii, I was like, this is so beautiful. I cannot believe that this is real. And there, I remember it was so humid, but like I was able to feel, I was able to be this water, you know? So I can be this water exactly.
You know what's so interesting is that you just mentioned, and we didn't think about that really before the show, but you just mentioned two very spatial, sacred places that play a huge role here in what we're experiencing in this huge awakening. Because you mentioned Dominican Republic, which is linked to Atlantis, and now you were mentioning Hawaii, which is linked to Lemuria. And a lot of the souls that are incarnated here right now and that are playing a major role in the awakening of humanity have been, and let me know, Jake, if you do agree with that, because Jake does hypnosis, past life regressions. So a lot of the souls have been in Lemuria, have reincarnated in Atlantis, and have reincarnated here in order to bring some balance with whatever has happened in both civilization, but also mainly in Atlantis, because we're living right now a mirror era with the age of Aquarius. And back then we were entering the age of Leo in Atlantis. So we have like a reverse karma that it's time for us to put on the earth. So it's interesting that you're mentioning those two places without even thinking about Lemuria and Atlantis.
No, and I didn't send you a picture, but like the bamboos there, it was like, and you feel, okay, I know exactly what happened there. You feel in the tree of the bamboos, and also like the big tree, like I saw like the biggest trees. I was like, so the souls of like the trees was absolutely powerful, and I was receiving at that moment, without even knowing, so much energy, so much powerful energy.
Yeah, that seemed like I it feels like it's outer worldly. Like there's let's say elements that we cannot really experience in the same way elsewhere, because I think it's one of the last places where Lemuria was present, Hawaii. So there are a few islands, of course, in the Pacific Ocean. And very interestingly, when I did my first past life regression with Sophie, this is the life that came through. I was a high priestess in Lemuria, and at first I said, oh, it's like a landscape that looks like Hawaii.
Oh, you need to go to Hawaii.
I think so.
And this picture, it was like, oh, that's beautiful as well. I was waking up around like 2 a.m. and go be there, there in a summit, and be able to be so close to the sun. This was so powerful as well. There was a big activation. And the picture right before, being so close to the lava and the water. That was a Scorpio energy, by the way.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
Intensity. Yeah, it's like the elements are so
And look at this picture, like this is like beauty, nature, and like there's a small hole there. That was really like a heart. So I was like able to see the heart, the water in the heart. It was just beautiful. It's like with picture, you're not able to describe like how powerful it is, the nature there. And like I can describe, like we need to go back.
Okay, I agree. Let's go back. And let us know, guys, in the comments or in the chat, if you have been in Hawaii. What did you feel? Apparently, it's there. It's one of the vortex, the Earth's chakra. I think isn't it like the heart chakra, or maybe I'm confused. Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, because I think it's a big divine feminine activation place. What do we have here? Oh, okay. Oh, it's another story that I wanted to share with all of you. So when you remember when just before I went to Peru, so end of August, we were spending a lot of time outside reading the cards in my backyard, and at some point you saw a beautiful hummingbird that seemed to be suspended in time. And you remember, right? And he was super close to us. And you know how hummingbirds are so magical, and it feels like they are like hovering in space, and they're not moving, but at the same time they're like switching dimension. So we saw this beautiful hummingbird, and you're like, look. And I was just like, huh. And starting from that point, I kept seeing hummingbirds nonstop. And not necessarily like real physical ones, but like pictures of hummingbirds. And I'm gonna show you guys, because so that was at my house. So right after we saw the hummingbird, I saw that. And then I went to Peru, and there are hummingbirds everywhere in Peru. So that's just a picture of a painting that I tried to take very quickly, because I wanted to share with you, Elena, and the community.
So the universe was telling you, go there.
Yeah, not only that, but when I was reading the book in the plane, which is Shamanic Mysteries of Peru, which I talked about several times here, they talk about like there are three main worlds in their cosmology of the Incas, of Peruvian mysteries. So there is this lower world that is guarded by the snake. There's this middle earth guarded by the puma. And there is the upper world connecting to the gods that is guarded by the condor. And the hummingbird is also very sacred with those, along with those three animals, because it is the messenger that can shift between realms and go to source or to the gods and bring back some messages. And at some point there is like a myth where the hummingbird came back being golden and being enlightened because he kind of touched God or something like that. And anyways, so I kept seeing hummingbirds everywhere, and I guess it was a message that we are being messengers, switching between dimensions when we're traveling. Also, that we touch on many different frequencies, many different vibrations and dimensions, and we bring them back to where we are, to our home, to our friends, to the people around us, to this beautiful community. So I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. It just reminded me of, was it last week that I said to you, okay, I'm running late to your place. I was in another dimension.
Yeah. So true.
I was driving for like 2 hours, and I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm like, I don't know what happened.
she took off in another plane of another realm of existence and forgot where she was going. And yeah, Tim, that is such a good point. Like Mercury Hermes, the quick messenger, who is the messenger from the two realms. And it's interesting because I have Mercury right on my ascendant, and Mercury is the messenger between realms, so it can travel between dimensions, between bringing back information from lifetimes also. And so that's very interesting. And I think it might have been like a personal message for me that I need to do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, amazing. And we have another slide deck of photos. So okay, Elena, I have a question for you before we dive into other pictures. What is the trip you would say in your life that has been the most life-changing for you, the most activating spiritually?
Knowing, or like at that moment that I didn't know. Honestly, I will say, I'm gonna say Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was gonna say my journey when I did my yoga, but this was more like I was opening it up to like all the spiritual things, but there it was like an awakening that I was not able to control. You know, it was like, okay, the universe, okay, you're there and you're going. That was the
You're going down the roller coaster, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. There's no breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like a meme in my head. I think we have the same one.
And
it's
you?
interesting you say that, because I was thinking before we did the show today that when I went to Afghanistan, that was like a huge that was probably like the big awakening prior to my spiritual awakening. So it's probably like this activation of where I was that gave me the codes that I needed for me to awaken spiritually a few years after that. What's this word? Is that you? Is that on your side?
What happened?
Okay, I just heard a sound and I don't know where it's coming from. Interesting. Oh yeah, John, a good question here. Yeah, I told the story, but it was like a few years ago, so I will retell it. So I was a professional dancer, cheerleader for the professional football team in Montreal. And we were asked by the Canadian Army if a couple of us would like to go to Afghanistan to meet with the soldiers. And they were organizing also like a week of entertainment for the soldiers not to be too depressed, right? Because like it was a really harsh trip for them to be separated from the one they love and their culture, their language. So I didn't really think, and I said yes in the middle of the war, and my parents were like, "Are you crazy?" But honestly, that was like such a beautiful trip. We met beautiful people, big hearts. It was really, really interesting. And I think it was more like on the subconscious level that I was activating there, and probably that I wasn't really fully ready for that kind of big awakening. And like you say, when I came to Dominican Republic that first time with my dad and I learned about dancing, this is where I think my soul and my body was like, okay, I'm ready. Like now I'm fully ready to be activated.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Jake. Jake is saying we just finished burning our water elemental candle. You're virtually magic, Elena. Thank you. Aww.
Thank you so much. And I know like you guys have been supporting us also for the candles, and we're listening to your advice, everybody, and we might come with another send. We might come with others' energy. So thank you so much for all your comments, your advice. We are taking everything in consideration that you are telling us.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm gonna switch deck. Since we're already more than an hour in, make this show too long, but I just wanted to jump right away to just something that I prepared for you guys, and you can take a screenshot of that. So I just prepared a little slide here as a bonus for the show. For in your birth chart, the kind of astrology indications to look for to have a lot of travels in your life. So a lot of people are predestined for their soul growth to be activated through a series of places on the earth that have that are really being called by their guides and their higher self to travel, and that's an important part for their soul's journey. So some of them, and of course this is not like a definite list, but I tried to put the most important elements here. So you can take a screenshot, of course. So of course, important placements in the sign of Sagittarius or in the 9th house. And you, Elena, have a lot of planets in your 9th house. So yeah. So 9th house is the house that's traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. I have a stellium, so a lot of planets in the sign of Sagittarius. So both of us share this big push by the universe to make us activate in different vortices of energy, we say. Also, the other sign and house that's associated with trips is the Pisces energy. And Pisces deals with far away travel, going overseas. And a lot of those people will not only travel, but also oftentimes relocate. So, and also Pisces 12th house is related to islands, to places near water. So if you have a lot of important placements in Pisces in the 12th house, yes, Tim says 2 slides in one show. Yes, I outdid myself today. So a lot of people will feel this need to connect with water, spatial places, and also to be activated with sacred places with this energy, because Pisces is very spiritual, very off-worldly, I wanted to say. Also, if you have the nodes, so the north node and the south node in the axis of the 3rd and 9th house, it means that needing to travel and move around is part of the way that you're going to learn about life. And your soul's going to grow with learning about, information, the 3rd house in Gemini, but also through higher learning, being confronted to other cultures, other languages, other religions, other ways of thinking. So this is going to be part of the experience. Also, if you want to know if you have a high chance to live outside the land where you were born, if you have the south node in the 4th house, Pluto, Uranus in the 4th house, so that's a big chance here that you're going to relocate. Also, having the north node, Jupiter, Mars, Neptune, Uranus, Mercury, Moon, basically like a lot of planets either in the 9th or in the Sagittarius, in the sign of Sagittarius also is another big one. The moon is also where you live. So if you have the moon in Sagittarius like I do, it can be a big sign of either traveling or relocating. And lastly, if you have your chart ruler, and by chart ruler, I mean look at your rising sign. So for instance, I'm a Leo rising. So the ruler of my whole chart will be the sun. And for you, if we take your example, Elena, you're a Pisces rising. So in modern astrology, we can take Neptune as your chart ruler, or in traditional astrology, we can take Jupiter. So your chart ruler, if it is in the 9th house, it means that you will travel a lot in this lifetime. In the 12th house, likely also. And if it is in the 3rd house, it means that you will need a lot of movement and to input a lot of information, which also can be a sign of traveling a lot. So let me know in the comments if that resonates with you. Also, let me know down below if you have one of those placements and if you resonate with traveling a lot and being called in different sacred places for your own soul's growth. And thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure to be sharing this moment with you. And like we said earlier, I'm just going to share here, don't miss this one. It's going to be tomorrow at the 5D News Show with Sophie and myself at 7 p.m. Eastern. I think it's going to be a really good one. You don't want to miss that. And of course, Friday we'll have the Galactic Show with our beautiful sister, Soul Rita. So don't forget to give us a like. We'll see you very soon. Thank you for joining us in this beautiful show, Elena, and the beautiful community. Love you, everybody, and see you very, very soon.